All right, there are enormous values to adding omega-3 fatty acids to our diet. Hey everyone, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. So this is something for people who, at least if they follow me on Facebook, they see a lot of my food, they see my groceries, they see all the omega-3 eggs, they see the high protein milks I have with added omega-3 fats, they see the walnuts, all this stuff. And I actually do currently take an extra strength fish oil supplement. So it kind of begs the question, what is the reason for all these omega-3 fats? And should people have them in their diet even if they're on a lower fat diet? And I'd say the answer is yes. And the reason being, omega-3 fats are the single most beneficial fat we can have in our diet. So to understand what they are, we do need to understand they are among our 2 essential fatty acids. And there's always some confusion with this because you get people who say, oh, well, EPA and DHA, that's what we need. But that's not entirely true. Those aren't essential. We have 2 essential acids, fatty acids in our diet as humans, as a species. We have one of them is an omega-6 known as linoleic acid, and the other is an omega-3 known as alpha linoleic acid. All right, these are the 2 fatty acids that we cannot produce. So, again, when people say, well, there's no essential whatever, but there's essential proteins and fats. That's what they mean. Those 2 fats are essential. Ironically, many of the people who harp on about that are terrified of omega-6s. So it's almost comical, but that's a side point. But we do need to be clear. Some of these benefits of omega-3s are present in omega-6s, particularly the linoleic acid. So when it comes to the alpha linoleic acid, though, we need to remember it has separate health benefits from the EPA and DHA. Now, EPA and DHA do a lot for cardiac health potentially in large amounts, but they do not do everything that the other one does. So when we say that we need these, you still do need some alpha linoleic acid even for basic survival, and you can convert it down the chain into EPA and DHA. There's actually 3 different omega-3 fatty acids that I'm aware of that we can convert down a chain from ALA. Whereas the ALA does tend to come from plant sources. So like the walnuts, flaxseed oils, or not the oils, they can be just the actual seeds. Those are our best sources. They're our most concentrated sources of those, but they are found in other things, certain nuts, certain seeds. Certain fruits and vegetables actually do have small amounts, right? Cantaloupe as a fruit actually is surprisingly high in it, for example. Perfect example. So what are we looking at right off the bat? Anti-inflammation. All right, omega-3 fatty acids in general tend to lower inflammation in the body. They help produce anti-inflammatory prostaglandins. So again, they're useful for just lowering potential inflammation throughout our whole body. Okay, and that includes a lot of different things happening medically. A lot of different things. All right, another thing they tend to do is they're cardioprotective beyond the inflammation in the sense of the impact they have on HDL, LDL, and triglycerides. So for example, cardiologists know that if they have patients supplement very large amounts of EPA and DHA, it lowers triglycerides. And a lot of people are not aware of that. But yeah, it absolutely can lower triglycerides. Okay, so again, it's something they prescribe, but they prescribe a large amount. It's like if you're taking 2 or 3 normal fish oils a day, it will not lower triglycerides medically, according to most cardiologists. They're usually having you do 2 grams minimum of EPA and DHA a day to do that. And that's what they will prescribe. It'll be an extra strength type fish oil, and you'll be taking several of them a day. So that's something like the equivalent of like 10 of the normal fish oils. But you can get more concentrated versions, which is what I tend to do. So the other thing that these do is that they raise HDL cholesterol, which is our good cholesterol. But be aware, in some people, the DHA can raise LDL in some people, whereas in the EPA can lower it in some. So again, a bit of a mixed bag there in terms of that. But overall, the combination is cardioprotective. Okay, they're cardioprotective. That's a good thing. All right, next up, in general, omega-3 fatty acids have been found to, in many people, oftentimes to improve insulin sensitivity. Now, this is not a universal thing. Not every study has found this to be true. It's a mixed bag, about half-half. But in general, there does seem to be at least some trend in the evidence towards there being an increase and improving insulin sensitivity, or at the very least offsetting and reducing insulin resistance. So what does that mean? Lowers chances of cancer, lowers chances of diabetes. Also enhances muscle growth, because we have data on that showing body composition improvements. There have been some studies showing a positive correlation between improved muscle mass and omega-3 fatty acid intake. Okay, even in non-lifting populations. So there is at least some evidence that I've seen in modern studies of a bias towards an anabolic effect, a very minor one. And that's a good thing, because that's doing it through a separate pathway than what you might expect from various things that cause it. And it is possibly due to the insulin sensitivity, right? Insulin sensitivity, maybe improved recovery from lowering inflammation. There's a lot going on there, a lot to unpack, okay? But these are all positive things. And then another big one, they tend to speed up fat metabolism, okay? Out of all the fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids seem to cause the most fat oxidation in the body. Okay, so in order, because again, people say, well, if you eat fat, you burn fat. Well, that's not entirely true. It is not even. So on a gram for gram basis, some fats bias you to burn more fat than others. Saturated fat being near the lower end, omega-3 being at the top end, then omega-6 right behind it. So again, we see where we're going with this. This is a type of fat that not only do we need for basic survival, but in significant amounts, it does what? It's cardioprotective, improves your lipid profile, okay? Potentially enhances insulin sensitivity, which again helps offset cancer, helps reduce diabetes rates, can potentially help build muscle, right? It biases us slightly towards fat burning. So burning fat as a fuel source more efficiently. Hey, there's a lot of good stuff here. Then the lower overall inflammation. So when you look at these and look at the benefits of adding more of them to your diet, there's a lot of positives. Particularly, I mean, again, and it's positives not just towards health. I mean, the health is very, very clear. When you have something like that, it is literally prescribed in significant amounts by cardiologists, because it's cardioprotective, it enhances lipid profile. I mean, we're dealing with good stuff here. Then it's also associated with building muscle, associated with burning fat. All right? These are extremely, extremely valuable in our diet. I'm not necessarily talking about just supplementing. I don't really supplement that much. I supplement 3 little capsules a day of it. But I have a lot of it in my diet. Okay, and I feel that it has enormous benefits. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.